自分が誰かにこんな感情を抱くことになるなんて夢にも思わなかった。
ミカ、大輝くんがニコニコしてるとこ見ると嬉しくなるの。
What's going on, my friends? Episode number 8 of Blooming Flowers. And first off, let me say this. Sorry for my video being late. Depending when you're watching this, you may not even realize it was late. But for me, I was on vacation during the time that this episode was released. So I wasn't able to release it on launch day, which was Sunday, which was like the 24th of August. It is now the 26th. So a couple days late. So regardless, thank you so much for clicking on my video. Hit like. It will definitely help me out. Now, when reviewing anime like Fragrant Flower, and specifically episode number 8, it's always really challenging reviewing episodes like this because contextually, and if I were to explain the events that happened this episode, which I'm going to do right now, it sounds fantastic. But in action and in watching, it's a much different story sometimes. And when we have slow burn anime, let me be specific. When we have slow burn romance anime, there is always this line that the anime needs to teeter on, and it teeters on. So if we have the line here, this is boring, and this is cute, adorable, and entertaining, and it always just kind of like rides this line. And if it skews one little bit way, like one little scene, it goes boop, boring. If it goes boop, cute, adorable. And it just depends where you're at, your feeling, your how your day is going, on how you're going to skew it. Because like my opinion is, when it comes to episode 8, I think this episode was boring. And I know a lot of you guys are gonna hate me for that, but then there's some of you who are gonna be like, yeah, it was a boring episode. It's kind of a nothing burger episode. And don't get me wrong, there are things that happen, right? So let me talk about them, and because I think the juice is sweeter than the squeeze here. So first off, we have Subaru, and let's focus on Subaru for a second, right? This is her introduction to Rintaro's friends, and it went over very well. So Kuroko brings Subaru, and Rintaro invite both of them to meet all of Rintaro's friends. And they have a cool kumbaya session where Subaru is saying, I'm sorry, Kuroko saying, I'm sorry. They're being thankful for being saved because they were saved by those boys that, were going to attack them, mainly Rintaro. And they give thanks. Then Subaru gives thanks and apologies for the way that she acted previously, letting her own bias speak before she actually understood them or who they are, what they are, whatever. Reciprocally, Rintaro's friends also thank them and say no apologies are necessary, and they're so thankful to meet them, and they don't have any predispositions towards, their school. It's just they know that school doesn't look lightly on them, and they hate them, so they act accordingly because, whatever. But really, they don't really have anything against their school. So they have a cool moment where, they're like, you're sorry, I'm sorry, and they share this, conversation among pastries and snacks and stuff. So that is cool. Again, when I'm speaking it sounds blissfully amazing. But the reality, it was a little boring, but it was cute, right? So when we have these things, like, it was cute and charming, but it was boring. Then the next thing is we have Rintaro and Kuroko's date. I was like, oh my god, yes, we're going to go on a date. We're going to an aquarium. Aquariums are very popular in Japan, apparently. And, they meet each other at the train station. That was really cute. Then they go on the date, and there was no hand holding. There was no nothing. They take a few cute pictures together. Kuroko's like, this is my treasure. And then they meet a lost little girl, because of course they do. Again, certain authors or certain genres have these tics that they're just like, oh, they're on a date right now. It would be great. A lost kid, and then they help them. They have these little things that they do that they have to insert into everything, and it's not required. So again, they have a little girl. She helps them. She realizes Rintaro's not the big bad man. He's actually a nice guy. Kuroko goes and finds her parents, brings her back. Little girl says, hey, you guys look really cute together. You make a cute couple. Rintaro, blah, 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 blah. The biggest part of that is, as the little girl was talking about her crush on this little boy, Rintaro is learning from this 5 or 6-year-old girl that the feelings that he has is liking, right? Because she explains to Rintaro, like, oh, every time this other boy smiles, it makes my heart flutter. I really like him. And Rotaro goes, holy shit. That's how I feel every time I look at Kurako. I like her. Ding, 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 ding. Finally has this moment that he realized, oh, I like her. That's the biggest win of this episode. But the Lost Girl and the aquarium, and they at the end of the episode, they finally go and see the show, and he keeps staring at her, realizing that he likes her, and that was it. And then the episode ends. Again, was it cute? Yes. Was it adorable? Yes. Was it charming? Yes. Was it entertaining? Depends on your mood. My mood right now is I just got done watching My Dress Up Darling and another show that were funny, and My Dress Up Darling is just a little bit above, a lot above Fragrant Flowers, right? If Fragrant Flowers is like a really good anime, My Dress Up Darling is like a masterpiece. It's just a little different. So when you see these things side by side, it just makes you realize that, like, oh, although maybe I didn't watch the best of My Dress Up Darling this week, it was still so much more entertaining, and I enjoyed watching it more. So that's kind of my feelings this week. I don't think it was a bad episode per se. I do think it was it was a cute, yes. Was it adorable? Yes. Was it charming? Yes. But was it fun, entertaining, and engaging? And my answer to that is no. But there were really not fun. There were really good things that happened this episode to move the story along. So it was a nothing burger in the sense of me like really loving this episode and really enjoying it. It was a lot of burger based off the things that happened. Rentaro's awakening towards liking whatever, them going on their first date, Subaru getting closer to his friends, the friends being friends with the friends, right? Like, contextually, a lot of really good things happen. It was just, was it entertaining? My answer to that is no. So that does diminish my view on the episode. Again, I realize a lot of you are going to feel different. Some people love really, really hard. And sometimes I love really, really hard. And even when I'm watching a shitty anime, it still can't do any wrong. And I acknowledge that there's folks out there like that. I'm somewhere in the middle where I'm not. I think this show is really cute, but it still can do wrong. And I think this episode was that. All right, tear me up in the comments, my friends. Those are my thoughts this week. Thank you guys so much for watching me through the end of the video. If you did, make sure you hit like before you dip out and leave. It helps out my YouTube channel, helps me out. And I'll see you guys next week. Peace out, my friends.